Interpreting the film, Eternity from a Buddhist Perspective Part 18. Obsession is a lock. Today, we continue our discussion on clips from the movie Everlasting Dot in one scene. We see Sheng Meng and Yu Pati facing the chains that bind them. Sheng Meng wants to use an axe to chop the chain, but Yu Pati desperately stops him. Despite her resentment towards Sheng Meng, she fears that once the chain is broken, he will abandon her. This confuses many people, since she already hates him so much. Why is she afraid of being abandoned? This is a perfect example of obsession. As our teacher says, it's the paradoxical state of being annoyed but unable to let go. Yu Pati is like someone stuck with a stubborn plaster. She's in pain but can't break free from it. She clings not to the present suffering, but to the fleeting points of happiness from the past. Like their fun times together, these scattered memories blind her to the pain and harm in her current situation. The disciples brought up a real-life example, a couple that fights constantly. But when it's time to divorce, the wife adamantly refuses. Even though seeing her husband makes her angry, the reason behind this is often interesting. As the teacher says, as long as she can still get something from him, be it money, material goods, or people, she won't let go easily. This is a narrow perspective, focusing only on immediate gains and ignoring the bigger picture. The teacher explains that this way of thinking is like being blinded by a single leaf, unable to see Mount Tai. When a person's delusion reaches its peak, they can only focus on one point, becoming oblivious to the dangers around them. This cognitive bias also applies to Sheng Meng. When he is extremely annoyed, he only wants to escape, forgetting all the good times they had. When Yu Pati reminisces about the past, she only remembers the joy, forgetting the present pain. A truly wise person can see the whole picture and balance all the elements, just like the 5 elements in Chinese philosophy, which mutually generate and conquer each other. When they're in harmony, everything goes smoothly. When they're not, you fall into trouble. If you're obsessed with just one point, you can't create harmony and may even cause conflict, leading to a detrimental outcome. In the film, Yu Pati repeatedly asks Sheng Meng if the chain breaks, "Will you abandon me?" She tells him he can chop the chain, but only if he promises not to leave. Sheng Meng ignores her and is determined to break free. The disciple asks what a verbal promise is worth. The teachers reply, "It's better than nothing." This seemingly absurd exchange reveals a cruel truth. What people in the world call love is not love at all. These people are not qualified to talk about love. They're profaning it. It's simply greed disguised as love. Both Sheng Meng and Yu Pati think they love each other, but in reality, they only love themselves. Sheng Meng wants freedom, which he considers his interests. Yu Pati wants security, which she considers her interests. When their self-defined love cannot be fulfilled, it leads to arguments and even violence. As the teacher says, this kind of love, tainted by greed, is a bottomless pit. It is bound to bring the 8 sufferings, the suffering of birth, old age, sickness, and death, the suffering of not getting what you want, the suffering of being separated from what you love, the suffering of being with what you hate, and the suffering of the 5 aggregates. These sufferings don't come at once. They continuously torment the mind and body. When Yu Pati tells Sheng Meng she is pregnant, his reaction isn't joy, but numbness. He knows this child is another chain, one that will be even harder to break. Yu Pati, however, sees the child as a tool to bind Sheng Meng and make him take responsibility. Initially, Sheng Meng tries to use the child. This scene profoundly reveals human ignorance. Sheng Meng believes that dying is his escape, but he's only trying to run from the responsibilities and pain he must bear. He never considers that what needs to be killed isn't a person, but his afflictions and wrong views. In the end, Yu Pati, unwilling to let Sheng Meng escape alone, holds the gun to her own head, trying to kill them both. But only she dies. This scene once again proves the terror of obsession. She'd rather die and remain attached to him, even as a ghost. This raises a deeper question. How can bodhisattvas save people like this? How do you save someone who is so attached that they would stick to you even in death and try to drag you down with them? The teacher's answer is direct. A bodhisattva cannot be stuck. A bodhisattva has wisdom, maintains right view, and does not give rise to greed. Thus, they cannot be stained by afflictions. Bodhisattvas do not actively seek out those who cannot be saved. They only save those who are willing to be saved and who are willing to change. If a person does not let go of their obsession and change their narrow-mindedness, even the simplest and best methods will be ineffective. It's like playing chess. A person with a low skill level can't understand the moves of a master and therefore cannot follow them. So, to find liberation, the first thing you must do is change yourself and become someone who can be guided. You must practice seeing the perfection in the spiritual teachers and bodhisattvas and be willing to follow them, instead of demanding that they follow you or trying to drag them down with you. From these clips of everlasting, we can realize that true liberation is not about escaping, but about facing and taking responsibility. Only by letting go of internal obsession